It's a certain kind of player. That's why we call it the executive game.
Let's talk about the executive games on The Sopranos.
So again, get all of your academic and extracurricular ducks in a row. Leave nothing to chance.
Unless you're Davy Scatino, in which case you leave everything to chance.
No help. Mysteries abound.
Shut the fuck up and deal, will you?
9 of spades, thank you.
Don't let him scare you. He's not really a nasty fuck. He's an incredibly nasty fuck.
Shakespeare straightened out. Paulie doesn't have shit as usual. And the prick doctor may be flushing.
But remember how Richie said he didn't want to see Davy Scatino at any more games until Davy had paid Richie back his 8 Gs?
They must have free tokens at the tunnel. How'd you get in here?
Richie made a big party foul here when he tried to attack someone in front of other non-family members. Oh, you know how Sill's usually the reasonable, calm, level-headed guy? There's exceptions, as Polly Walnuts would say.
Leave the fucking cheese there, all right?
Next up, Season 3, Episode 12, Amor Fou. Jackie Aprile Jr. decides that he wants to step up and take some action and get recognized. We know that usually goes really well for young guys on the show, not. So he and his boys decide to knock up the game one night, following in the footsteps of Tony and Jackie Aprile Sr. when they successfully robbed the game when they were younger, when it was run by Feech LaManna.
Want a drink?
Nobody fucking move!
The executive game in Season 3, Episode 12, had major implications for Jackie Aprile Jr.
Very bad, boys. Very bad.
This is a low-level game, guys. The only thing you're gonna get around here is practice.
Heard what he said. Shut the fuck up!
Hey, take it easy, huh? Take it easy.
You guys know who you're robbing?
Give me your watch. Remember the old adage, son, leave him while you're looking good.
Just give it to him, sunshine.
Victory has 100 fathers, but defeat is an orphan.
Shut up! Shut up! Stop fucking looking at me. Come on. When we go in, you do the talking.
Me?
I know you, Gino. Recognize my voice. Hurry up! Let's get the fuck out of here! Jackie! 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 You got forgiven?
But think about it. See if you can figure out the difference.
And I was still a little shit here like the two of you.
Next up, Season 5, Episode 4, All Happy Families.
Everybody's in? Aces side.
In addition to the familiar face of Dr. Freed, we have some other new players here, Tonys. By now, Feech has already caused a lot of agita with his Richie Aprile mentality of taking whatever he felt he was owed, no matter whose heads and legs he had to crack to do it. And Tony gives Feech permission to run the executive games. But when Tony shows up to the games, it turns into these passive-aggressive power trips of who can make the funniest joke or tell the most crude story.
The maid walks in and she says, "What's going on?"
Hello, girls.
Hey! Hey! How you doing? Sir Lawrence from the Meadowlands.
Your Highness, how are you?
Tony, let me introduce Bernie Brillstein. Hey. Did you get my list of toys? Hey, Tony. Last time his parole officer made the unannounced visit, he gave him a massage. Huh?
Perhaps Feech should have offered his parole officer a massage when he came by and found all of the weapons of mass destruction in his garage. But after Feech decides to plan a mass carjacking at the witch's face the night of the game, time for Feech to go back to where he came from. In other words, just like he told Davy Scatino, get back in your fucking hole. Feech, it's time to get back in your fucking hole too. Next up, the executive game to me was an illustration of Tony B's downfall. Earlier in this episode, Tony B and his girlfriend had been out going for a walk when all of a sudden a car speeds by them and throws a bag out the window. When they go look at the bag's contents, there is drug paraphernalia and $12,000 cash, which Tony keeps. And this is where he spends it all.
3 fucking jacks over here.
You just keep jacking, my friend.
That's it for me, tapioca.
You blew the whole 12 grand?
What are you, stupid? I got 400 left.
Jesus Christ, it's 4 a.m.
Okay, boys, hands on the table.
Full boat.
Jesus Christ.
Of how quickly one could slip back into bad habits.
Better watch your step.
Next up, Season 5, Episode 7, in Camelot.
800, and you'll know. Cowboys and 3 little Indians.
Fuck me. You're still here? Called you all day yesterday.
We're in a hand here. What do you want to do?
Fold.
While some can enjoy and indulge in moderation, for others, it's all or nothing.
Here's the house, 57,000.
Winner this time. I'll do the best I can.
How much is he into us for?
About 45 bucks as a CD.
King of Hearts. Ace
What?
of Hearts.
He grabbed another 10 while you were asleep. He said you okay.
5, low card.
Don't give me that look.
Listen, Tony, I had a good run there for a while.
Season 6, Episode 15, Remember When. Now, obviously, this isn't the officially sanctioned and run executive game, but for purposes of the Sopranos story, I think it's important to include, because to me, it's another example or another expression of Junior trying to assert control or leadership by organizing this game.
Guy comes home with a bouquet of flowers for his wife.
But she still wanted more.
I guess I'll have to spread my legs now, she says. Why, he asks. Don't you have a vase?
I don't know where the story's heading, but I guess we should all be grateful he wasn't wearing white bucks.
High rollers only. Keep walking, Professor.
Perhaps Tony should have been a little more forceful with Davy Scatino, like Junior was here. But sometimes it's hard to tell where one place stops and the other place begins. Or in Tony's case, where one family, one world stops, and the other family, and the other world begins.
You like it?
This is Eric's Jeep. Oh my god. Is this Eric Scatino's Jeep?
Yeah, but yours now.
Because Davy Scatino ended up being 53 boxes of ZD, aka $53,000, in the hole when combining what he owed Richie and then what he owed Tony after the game, he had no choice but to give up his kid's car and let them do a bust out of his sports store. This game also leads to further conflict between Tony and Richie Aprile, who were already had major implications for Jackie Aprile Jr. And Jackie loses his life because of it. Just like Richie Aprile, Feach had no patience, and life didn't have much patience with him either. So he got sent back to the can. As for Tony Uncle Al,
Fucking sick and tired of your gambling and complaining. I've got a headache. When I think of me waiting outside that prison for you to come out, sometimes I want to vomit.
We open in 3 days, huh?
So, which type of torture instrument we're going to use to pump this?
You show that.
That's where comes the neighbors, you know.
Yeah.
You have to go where the...
Yellow.
I'm in.
that's how it all ended for Tony B, when it was all said and done. Now, what about JT? So if you can believe it, JT Dolan is more in the hole than even Davy Scatino was. So, how's he going to pay it back?
A new kind of slasher film.
Now, in terms of consequences for Junior, We see that he's alive at the end of the series, the very last episode. But we know he hasn't been fully mentally alive for quite a while. And it's because of this game and some other shenanigans that they end up further medicating him, which we see greatly impacts Carter Chong as well. The ripple effects.
West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road.
Pay all at once.
So, what was your favorite executive card game?